Gaby Canizales, another former world champion who can hit you hard.
Gaby Canizales looked like the hardest-hitting bantamweight since Ruben Olivares when he won the title from Richie Sandoval back in '86. Lost the title in his first defense, shockingly to most people, to Bernardo Penango. We don't know how much he's got left. He lost a couple of more fights after that, but he can still bang with both hands.
There you get a look at Gaby Canizales with a record of 44-5. Earlier today, Sports Channel's Dick Landis talked with the hard-hitting Texan.
The legend of Laredo first came to Atlantic City in 1982 at the start of what was a successful career. Now he's back 7 years later in what some feel is the twilight of his career. But the tough kid from Texas still thinks he can work his way back again to a world title. Beating Diego Rosario for the USBA Bantamweight title in '82 propelled him on to win the WBA title in 1986. But why bother to continue after 10 successful years in the ring?
I love boxing. I love the workouts, the fights, and I had the world title once. I lost it, and I wasn't ready to lose it. And now I'm coming back for it. This time it's going to be for WBC. And but most always, I love the sport, and I feel good when I train. I feel like 16. Feel very good.
When I looked at your record for this year so far, I see a one-round knockout, and the thought came to me, is he maybe thinking about retiring and really doesn't know what to do and maybe wants to give it another shot? Is that what's going on in your head?
Well, what I want to do, I want to win the world title again. That's what I have in my mind right now, just win the world title.
Gaby Canizales, 29 years of age, comes in with a record of 44-5, 32 knockouts. That given to us here by the people in Atlantic City. Ranked number 8 by the WBC, number 8 by the WBA, ranked 11th by the IBF. He will be fighting a 10-round super bantamweight bout. The main event coming up next. We now pause for a regional break. Down Ohio, former NABF bantamweight champion and former USBA junior featherweight title. Earlier today, Sports Channel's Dick Landis talked to Richardson about a road back to a championship.
Greg, what does the Canizales fight do for you?
Well, I think with a win here would put me back where I want to be, back in the top 10 in contention, and possibly a fight with a world champion, possibly his brother Orlando, who is a good champion.
31 years of age. You see Greg Richardson getting set for tonight's fight against Jose Gaby Canizales. There is tonight's tail of the tape. And you see the ages, Wally, and the weight in Canizales' favor.
The only edge that matters in this fight, Bob, is the punching power, and that's all Canizales is. Now, Greg Richardson calls himself the flea, and that's the way he fights. He's going to be very, very hard to hit solidly.
Here are the rules in the state of New Jersey. A 10-point must system scored by 3 judges. Doctor and referee have the authority to stop the fight. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. 3 knockdown rule in effect, standing 8 count, and the butt rule also in effect. We now send it to our ring announcer, Michael Buffer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, Frank L. Promotions presents the Sports Channel America's Pro Boxing Tour from Donald Trump's Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino here on the Boardwalk in Atlantic City, New Jersey. These bouts are sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard Sr., Deputy Commissioner Lawrence Wallace, and the chairman is Jerry Gormley. The 3 judges doing all the scoring tonight will be Eva Shane, Richard F. Murray, and Frank J. Cairo. Chief ringside physician, Dr. Frank B. Doggett. Also at ringside, Dr. Dominic Coletta and Dr. Paul Williams. The alternating referees will be Frank Cappuccino and Randy Newman, with the alternate counting for the knockdown seconds, and the timekeeper is Lindsey Tucker. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get things started with a special 10-round bout in the bantamweight division. The referee for this bout is Randy Newman. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the white trunks with blue trim and weighs 118 pounds. He's from Youngstown, Ohio, and brings a professional record, an excellent one, of 25 victories with 4 KOs against only 4 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg D. Richardson. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, Wearing the red trunks with gold trim, he weighs an even 120 pounds from Laredo, Texas. His professional record, 44 victories, 32 by KO, only 5 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, the former WBA Bantamweight champion of the world, Gaby Canizales.
Both be familiar with the rules of the state as they've been thoroughly gone over. Do you have any questions? That's good. I want you to remember 2 things. Number 1, defend yourselves at all times. Number 2, obey my commands. Now shake hands and come out of the bell.
Scheduled for 10 rounds, and Wally, a very familiar face in the corner of Gaby Canizales.
Yeah. Manuel Stewart, Gaby Canizales now with Kronk West, which is out in Phoenix. And Kronk, of course, the stable that turns out punchers the way Bayers turns out aspirin tablets.
Round number 1, scheduled for 10. From Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wally, what do you look for early in this fight?
Well, I think that Richardson is going to have to establish that jab and some movement because Gaby Canizales is a world-class puncher, no 2 ways about it. In fact, he gave me my most frightening moment in a boxing arena the night that he knocked out Richie Sandoval. Sandoval left the arena on a stretcher, went to the hospital. For a while there, they were worried about him. This guy can bang.
Canizales last fought in April of this year, Auburn Hills, Texas. He knocked out Tony Pruitt in round 1. Last fight for Richardson, May 30th of this year in Youngstown, Ohio. 10-round decision over Sonny Long.
So far, Richardson has had a lot of success reaching Canizales with the jab. And that's really what he needs to do. He's got to keep Gaby Canizales from getting set. Once he gets set, he can really bang, especially with a left hook.
Minute gone by in round 1. 2 former champions. Gaby Canizales in the red trunks, Greg Richardson in the white.
You see right there, Canizales trying to slip that jab to the right and then bang home with a left hook. If it doesn't work the first time, he'll step back and just try it again. He'll do that all night till it lands because most of the time he only needs 1.
Canizales trying to load up there.
Well, that's his game. He's a puncher. He's not going to come in here and outbox anybody.
This is a classic boxer against puncher. You look at Richardson, 25-4 record with only 4 career knockouts. Not much disputing his lack of punching power.
No, there's really you very seldom find a boxing match with 2 guys who are so divergent in style. But that jab is really popping home there. He snapped Canizales' head back with it.
We have under a minute remaining in round number 1, scheduled for 10. Gaby Canizales against Greg Richardson.
It is so quiet in here right now, Bob. Sure that'll change.
Yeah, when the Macho Man comes in. Wait until the audience here sees his outfit.
Right.
Under 30 seconds to go, round 1.
An easy round so far for Greg Richardson. Landed all the punches, none of them particularly meaningful.
That's what he'll look to do, stay away from that big right hand. 10 seconds to go in round 1. Bob Papa along with Wally Matthews. And Wally, a good left there thrown by Canizales to start this off.
That was his first real solid punch to the head. And Canizales' corner, Manny Stewart, so calm in there. You know, that's the luxury when you have a puncher like Canizales who said, okay, we're down 1 round here. Just get yourself together, move in there, and do what you know how to do. He knows that the fight can end with any single punch from Canizales. No need to get frustrated or desperate yet. Nice 1-2 by Richardson, and Canizales was right there for it, and then a double left hook. I'll tell you what, if Richardson was more of a puncher, Canizales may have been in some trouble after that second left hook.
And Canizales fires off the right. They told him to punch more in between rounds.
Bob, this is the kind of fight that looks pretty tame when you're watching it right now, but if you know Canizales, you know that at any moment, everything can turn around. It's the kind of a fight you don't want to take your eyes off. little bit short by Canizales.
Right, stop, Hundred, step back.
In a fight like this, Richardson has to be on top of his game.
Oh, he's got to be very careful. It's kind of like walking a tightrope without a net underneath you. One mistake and you're in the soup. But a nice one, too.
While he's surprised Canizales doesn't try to go to the body a little bit just to slow Richardson.
You know, he's never been a big body puncher, in spite of the fact that he's such a power puncher. He's always been a bit of a headhunter. And one thing that started to betray him later in his career is that he does cut. Now, we know Richardson is not a puncher, but the proliferation of those jabs and right hands, we may see some blood from Canizales later on.
A minute to go in round number 2. Very quiet house here at the Imperial Ballroom in Trump Plaza in Atlantic City. A macho man, Hector Macho Camacho, up next.
Oh, you know it's going to be loud then, because Camacho always gets a mixed reaction from the crowd.
He'll make it loud if it's not loud.
He does have a way of getting a reaction out of people, doesn't he?
Never at a loss for word. Under a half minute to go in round 2.
Well, right now, Richardson not at a loss for landing punches. He has no qualms about stepping right in there with 1-2s against Canizales, which can be dangerous.
He may get a little bit too brave. We now pause for a regional break. We come to the end of round 2. You're watching the Pro Boxing Tour on Sportner again in between rounds 1 and 2.
Well, don't forget, Manny Stewart's been through it all. He's been through the pressure cooker with Hearns and Leonard twice already, maybe a third time to come. But he liked what Canizales did that round. He said, I don't know who won it. Oh, some sharp punching by Richardson again.
And it looks like there might be a cut along
starting
the right
to see a nick there, yes. And that's something that Gaby has to watch out for, because he's eating a lot of punches. He's not going to get knocked out by those punches, but there's a good chance he can get cut. Look at that, 4 shots from Richardson. He looks like he's a very confident fighter right now. The thing that Manny liked about Canizales in the last round is that he thinks that Canizales is starting to dictate the pace to Richardson, but so far he hasn't done it in round 3.
Well, if he did near the end of round 2, Richardson has come back out here at round 3 and taken it back. Richardson in the white trunks, Canizales in the red.
It's much more tiring to a fighter when he's moving because he has to, rather than when he wants to. And Stewart felt that Canizales was forcing Richardson around the ring last round.
A minute 5 gone by in round number 3.
Yeah, left hook snuck in between the gloves here, but I don't think it caught Richardson flush.
Looks like it was the end of the punch.
Now Richardson may be making a mistake here. It looks like he's going punch for punch with Canizales. Well, he can't miss with a right hand.
Could Canizales be trying to set him up?
Oh, I'm sure he is. He wants to close distance on Richardson. Maybe he wants Richardson to be a little bit more confident and step in there with his shots. Richardson's starting to carry those hands way low. I don't know if that's overconfidence, fatigue, or what, but it's really not smart against Canizales.
Hanging open here in this 3rd round.
A solid 1-2.
Good left. Richardson continues to pick apart Canizales.
I was going to say, this is like the proverbial race between the steamroller and the motorcycle. Richardson, of course, is the motorcycle. If he runs out of gas, the steamroller is going to roll him right over.
Under a minute to go in round number 3. Canizales stalking.
Nice left uppercut inside by Richardson. And there's Canizales' best shot of the fight. A good left hook.
That right was short.
But Canizales now starting to stand in there and trying to counter by reflex off Richardson's jabs.
The last thing Richardson wants to do is stand in front of him. You got to keep moving.
And you notice he's not moving very much anymore.
We come to the end of round number 3. Bob Papa along with Wally Matthews from Atlantic City. This is a 10-round bantamweight bout. Gaby Canizales in the red. Greg Richardson in the white.
Bob, I gave Richardson the third round. I also gave him the first two, but I'm starting to sense that the fight is turning. And I also noticed that in Richardson's corner, they were saying to him, don't mix it up with him. So they're starting to sense it too. I think Canizales is getting closer to landing that punch. One thing he's got to worry about, though, he's got a red swelling on his right cheekbone. And the way Richardson's been landing that left, that could turn into trouble.
Seems like Richardson has lost a little bounce.
He sure has. He certainly has. He's now standing still in front of Canizales, and I don't think his hands alone will be enough to keep Canizales off him, because he's not a big puncher.
And he is 31 years of age.
He just landed a real good left hook right to the pit of the stomach of Canizales. But you notice now Canizales is starting to get the range.
He's like a half step in closer, and that's made a difference.
That could make all the difference. Even when Richardson sets him up and lands solidly, he can't really rock Canizales because he's not a puncher. What that jab does, though, is it takes Canizales out of his rhythm. It stops him from what he wants to do, and that's really all he needs. That and a little movement.
Minute 25 to go in round number 4.
Canizales just missed a counter right hand there, and that was going to do some big damage.
Now Richardson just trying to hang on. He's got to stay away from those ropes. Referee is Randy Newman.
Well, I wouldn't say that he's hurt, but he is feeling some fatigue here and some pressure from Canizales. He's got to be careful. Another nice left hook. Now, from a puncher, Canizales is in trouble. But with Richardson, he can take those shots. And that was a good right hand by Canizales.
Canizales just missing. Good round for him, though.
I would say he won this round. He's really starting to dictate the pace. Now, there's a big left hook. Richardson fights back instead of what you would think he would want to do is cover up. And he was certainly wobbled by that punch.
20 seconds to go in round 4. It's scheduled for 10. Canizales with a thunderous left. And round number 4 is in the books. And there you get a look at the Macho Man. Get a little R&R before his fight with Tommy Hanks in our main event.
Doesn't seem too disturbed by the prospect, does he?
Please shut up.
As he kicks one of his handlers, we step out here. Back with more after this.
Here is the best punch of the fight, that left hook from Canizales, and it's really hurt Richardson. What he established right here is that he can end this fight if he lands solidly.
Richardson came back, but those punches not hurting Canizales.
There's a limit to how long he can keep Canizales off with those punches if he does not continue to move.
Scheduled for 10.
You can see the confidence growing in Canizales. In fact, just before the end of last round, he just missed a counter right hand. He's standing right in there now, ready to bang out Richardson if he can reach him.
Now, instead of Richardson using his movement as a weapon, kind of using it as a defense.
4 good punches by Richardson. He's doing what they call a paint job here on Canizales. Not hurting him, but he is slapping him around. And don't forget, those do score points.
Scheduled for 10. Richardson in the white trunks, Canizales in the red. 2 former champions. Wally, so far, how do you have it scored?
I gave Richardson the first 2 rounds. I gave Canizales the 4th, and he just hurt Richardson again with a left hook. Now, don't forget, there are some judges who give much more weight to aggression, although I don't think Canizales was that effective over the first 2 rounds. So we could be looking at a fight that the judges may have 3-1 in favor of Canizales.
A right and then a left by Canizales. And he's been scoring with that left effectively. You would figure the spacious ring would help Richardson, but he stopped moving.
He's not using it anymore.
Halfway through round number 5.
It's obvious right now that Gaby knows he's not going to be hurt even by the best punch from Greg Richardson. He just stood right in there and took a right hand on the chin. That's a tremendous advantage for a fighter to know that he can come forward and not have to worry that he's going to get hurt.
well take two if you know you can unload one big one.
Especially when the one big one is the kind of punch that Canizales can land.
Two former champions.
Look at the difference in the effect when Richardson lands a left hook to what Canizales does. You think they were in different weight classes?
Canizales just walking through the punches of Richardson.
I think what we're looking at here is a gradual wearing down process.
And Canizales just continues to stalk his prey.
Canizales now in control of this fight. He's now moving Richardson to the areas of the ring where he wants him. Even though he's not landing flush with the big punches he wants to, he's setting up for later.
We come to the closing seconds of round number 5. We pause for a regional break. You're watching Sports Channel's Pro Boxing Tour. Don't.
Well, we see the clean punches have been coming from Richardson, the power punches coming from Canizales, and you saw in that sequence right there that Canizales is now standing right in there and putting his punches in between those of Richardson.
Manuel Stewart said in the corner of Canizales in between rounds, round number 5 was your best round. Keep it going.
And I agree with him there. I think that Canizales is inevitably wearing down Richardson. Richardson needs to get a second wind here.
Richardson in the white trunks, Canizales in the red. Two former champions. Canizales' brother, Orlando, IBF and USBA bantamweight champ.
Also an excellent fighter. And you notice now that Richardson is not snapping that jab anymore. He's really pushing it into the face of Canizales.
And he has totally stopped moving.
Yeah, he's flat-footed, and that's not his game at all.
Especially against a puncher like Canizales. Very subdued crowd here in the Imperial Ballroom.
Well, this has not been a tremendously exciting fight, but it is an interesting fight because you realize that Richardson is sitting on a knife edge here. He's really got to be careful.
The boxer against the puncher. Right now, the boxer is starting to wear the puncher is starting to wear the boxer down.
Richardson's been walking a very fine line since the moment he got into the ring, and now he's starting to sort of slip over that line a little bit on the wrong side for him.
Just pawing with his jab.
Canizales, you can see him just waiting for that one jab that's a little slow or a little bit lazy. Of course, Richardson may yet get to that finish line before. Did you see that? A right hand turned Canizales' head sideways and didn't phase him.
Just kind of shook it off.
Because there's no power. There's a lot of flash. Richardson and Canizales' punch with those reflexes.
Canizales would have been gone by now.
Yeah, but I think that's how nature evens things up for all of us. Doesn't give anybody too much of one thing. Of course, Hector Camacho, a guy who seemed to have all the talent in the world a couple of years ago.
We will see him next against Tommy Hanks. Under 30 seconds to go in round number 6.
And there again, Richardson landing some good sharp punches, and Canizales really has not followed up his advantages in this round. You know, with the exception of that one solid left hook he hit Gaby with, I think in the third round, Richardson has pretty much neglected the body.
We come to the end of round number 6.
There it is, a good sharp right hand, turns Canizales' head around, but does no damage whatsoever.
Richardson has landed the majority of the punches, but Canizales' have been more effective.
You know, I gave Richardson that 6th round because Canizales is now maybe a little bit too patient. And now we're more than halfway through a 10-round fight. I've got Richardson ahead by 2 points. I think it's time, on my card anyway, for Canizales to start stepping up the pace and not just sit back and figure, hey, I can end this with one shot. He's got to put a couple together. See, that's the problem with a puncher like Gaby Canizales. They have a tendency to load up, thinking that their one best shot will end the fight. Sometimes it doesn't.
Good series of punches by Richardson, but Canizales answers back.
Boy, it's amazing the way Richardson is able to snap that head back of Canizales, but his legs stay solid under it. forget, we have a 10-point must system here in Jersey. So far, everything 10-9 rounds, but we don't know which way they're going. Now, I happen to think that Richardson won the last round, but a judge that's more impressed by aggressiveness and power punching may have gone with Canizales. So we don't know what kind of a fight we're looking at right now.
Well, if it keeps going like this, it'll be a very tough decision. It'll be a close one.
And it's going to be disputed either way, I can tell you that. Because all the damaging blows have come from Canizales. There just have not been enough of them to really hurt Greg Richardson.
Combination by Richardson.
Ooh, he was in a bad position there, and he's just by sheer reflex, he got out of the way of that right hand.
Well, it looks like Richardson may have gotten a second win.
I thought that he had it in the 6th, and I think that was partially Canizales' fault because he really didn't press his advantage. And we see him doing the same thing in this round, Canizales, not really putting enough pressure on.
Just under a minute to go in round number 7.
That was a good left hook. I think it caught Richardson in the chest.
A little more side-to-side movement now from Richardson.
Well, this is what he has to do.
This is what he did in the first 3
Sure,
rounds.
and when he stopped doing that, he was allowing Canizales to start getting some position on it.
Under 30 seconds to go, round 7. Canizales in the red, Richardson in the white. Scheduled for 10.
Richardson really taking a rest now this part of the round, trying to stay out of punching range from Canizales.
But scoring as well.
Another solid left hook.
10 seconds to go in the round. Both fighters connecting. We come to the end of round number 7. Gaby Canizales.
Well, Manny Stewart's a very good cornerman, and he told Canizales the way it is, the way it looks like on my scorecard. And I think that Canizales just greeted Richardson with a good right hand. What he told Canizales was, this is a numbers game, and you're losing. And he's right. He's just getting hit with more punches. He's not being hurt, but he's not firing back. They wanted to start working the body a little bit and then bring those punches up to the head. I mean, now we're in the 8th round of a 10-round fight. Canizales could be far enough behind that he needs a knockout.
I have Richardson up 5 rounds to 2.
That's exactly the way I have it. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if one of the judges or 2 of the judges had it the complete opposite. But from where I sit, I think that Richardson has landed the much cleaner punches and much more of them.
Round number 6, Richardson got his win back. Rounds 4 and 5, he looked like he was about ready to go.
And when Canizales hurt Richardson at the end of the 4th round with that left hook, it looked like it was just a matter of time. Look at that. That left hand got Canizales' attention. That really snapped his head back. He's now landed 9 spots from Canizales. He's got pesky power, and sometimes they take a toll on a guy, even if he has a good chin, like Canizales does.
And it also has to help the confidence of Richardson.
This fight is pretty similar to one that you and I saw yesterday over at the Marina. Tony Thornton against Steve Collins. Steve Collins not a power puncher, just pesky enough to keep Thornton, who's a much harder hitter, off of him, and he wound up winning a 12-round decision.
This one's scheduled for 10. That right came up short by Canizales. Richardson continues to move away.
And we should stress a fight like this is not an easy fight to score because the 2 guys have very distinct styles and very different ways of going about their fighting.
Just under a minute gone by.
I'll just tell you, I really think that Richardson is scoring much cleaner, and with the exception of the 4th and 5th rounds, I don't think Canizales has done enough.
45 seconds to go in round number 8.
There again. 1-2 sets up that jab perfectly. I'm sorry, 2 jabs set up the right hand perfectly is what happened there. But Canizales had no answer.
No swelling around that right eye of Canizales.
Well, he's been hit with enough left hands. I'm really surprised he hasn't gotten cut.
Wally, all those punches that Canizales has been hit with, it's got to take a toll.
Oh, sure it does. It certainly wears you down a bit. And I think now we see some desperation in Canizales.
Richardson just moving away. 10 seconds to go in round number 8. Close fight here.
I was going to say, we see right here, boss and employee, and tonight they're on even terms. This is a chance of a lifetime for Tommy Hanks.
Hanks was Camacho's sparring partner prior to the Ray Mancini fight. In our fight here, you see Glenn Richardson scoring at will against Gaby Canizales.
And these are the kind of flurries that have Richardson well ahead on my card. I've got it 78-74 with 2 rounds to go. On my card, Canizales needs a knockout.
Round scheduled for 10. Both fighters want another shot at the title, and a loss here, whoever loses, will pretty much wipe them out of the picture.
Now you can see that Canizales knows it now. He knows he's behind. He knows he needs a knockout.
Bob Papa along with Wally Matthews here from the Imperial Ballroom in Atlantic City at Trump Plaza. Glad you can join us on Sports Channel's Pro Boxing Tour.
Canizales just missed that left hook there. Threw a right to the body first, came back with a left, but Richardson picked it off. Nice left hook in there by Canizales, but that time Richardson picked it off, and I mean, stood up to it, and I think he turned his head with the punch and took some of the impact away. Fighters call that rubbernecking. I had spoken with Mitch Blood Green after he fought Mike Tyson a couple of years ago, and I said, how did you take those punches when Tyson did not get hurt? He said, I was rubbernecking him. He showed me what he meant, turning his head to take the power out of the punch.
Richardson's done a lot of that tonight.
You could see the I won't say desperation, but the increase in intensity in Canizales right now. He knows he needs that knockout.
This is round number 9.
And it's not like Richardson has not been in one place for Canizales to hit, because we had 3 or 4 rounds there where he stood pretty much still.
And he was out of steam.
Richardson stumbled there a bit. The right hand looked like it just grazed him. Let's take a look at those legs of Richardson. Did not look good right now.
No. I thought he may have stumbled, but it looked like he might have been hurt.
And yet he still keeps those hands down.
Gaby is looking to move in for the kill.
He looks like a shark that smells blood, doesn't he?
Really didn't see much of his fight. Looked like a right that came up a bit short. And now the crowd's starting to get into it a bit.
Well, I think they sense the end also, but let's see. Richardson has shown good recuperative powers throughout the fight here.
Other than the middle rounds, Richardson has really fought an excellent fight, Wally.
He's fought a smart fight. He's also fought a very daring fight, because he hasn't exactly run from Canizales. He's tried to be in and out. He has not been shy about stepping in with his punches. I don't think we've seen it clinch all night. Randy Newman, the former heavyweight contender, is the referee here tonight. I don't think he's had to break a single clinch.
10 seconds to go in round number 9. Richardson continues to move away. Canizales, it appears, needs a knockout. And we'll take you to Gaby Canizales' corner.
You got to go all out this round, okay? How do you do this? Big round. You got to just be a total animal. Forget about everything. Be a total animal this round. You understand? You got to win this fight real big this round. You got to knock him down and try to get your 10-8 to pull it out, okay? Okay. All out this round. All out. No holding back on nothing. Let the shots go. Whether you're looking bad is not important. Let everything go.
I got it. Come on, baby. 3 more rounds, champ. 3 more rounds.
Put that on.
Wipe that off. It's all you.
Take that off.
This is off.
It's cold. All right.
Box the scale. 3 minutes, baby. Okay?
You need this badly, man. Let's go. All the way.
Get that towel, buddy, for that water on that.
You heard the words of Emmanuel Stewart in the corner of Gaby Canizales saying you need a big round. It doesn't matter how you look, just start throwing punches.
Well, there's no disputing that, but boy, some discouraging words in the corner of Greg Richardson. His corner telling him 3 more rounds. I think they mean 3 more minutes. I hope they don't think this is a 12-rounder. He's 3 minutes from home right now.
Scheduled for 10th and final round. Emmanuel Stewart said you need a 10-8 round, and I think he may need more than that.
I think Manny Stewart thinks this fight is closer than I think it is.
But remember, we have it scored one way. It could easily be scored yet another way.
Well, with all due respect, I think we've got it scored the right way. Although Well, stranger things have happened in this game. There's that 1-2 again from Richardson. You know, he's not playing it safe here when he really should be. He's 3 minutes from an apparent victory, and he's still standing in there and punching.
He's 2 minutes away from an apparent victory. And he scores 1, 2, 3. Wally, all those shots landed, but a lot of slapping.
But they are turning that head of Canizales. I hope he's not falling victim to the Billy Conn syndrome here and deciding that he could knock out the puncher. That could be a fatal error.
All it takes is one, and Canizales has it.
This would be a damaging loss for Canizales. I mean, at that point, I don't think you could really put him into title contention without another couple of wins, but he becomes a very dangerous opponent.
He is 29 years of age. Richardson, 31. Two former champions. Richardson in the white, Canizales in the red. This would have to go down as Greg Richardson's masterpiece of fights. He's fought an excellent fight throughout.
Well, we said he was giving Canizales a paint job before. Maybe he's a Picasso.
The classic boxer against the puncher. Canizales trying to land that one big shot.
He's really fought a smart fight, even if the decision somehow doesn't go his way, and I would really be shocked. I think he's fought Canizales exactly right.
Seconds remaining in the fight.
Canizales just missed a right hand there.
Richardson staying away. I thought we'd see more of a fury from Canizales.
He just can't seem to get set. I don't really know what the problem is with him here tonight, but his man is right there in front of him.
We come to the end of the fight. I also gave him round 9.
I could only see it one way.
And here was Greg Richardson at work all evening, Wally.
He really did paint Canizales well here. Canizales just not quick enough to get off the mark and counter. He really was looking for single punches all night, Bob. Even when he hurt him with that left hook late in the round, he never really followed up, and he really let him off the hook in the 5th, although I gave him the round on aggression.
Here you see Gaby Canizales in his corner. And we'll be back with the decision here on Sports Channel's Pro Boxing Tour. Back at Trump Plaza in Atlantic City. Interesting fight. Gaby Canizales and Greg Richardson. Who won? Our ring announcer Michael Buffer has the answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Trump Plaza here in Atlantic City, here is the official scoring. Frank J. Cairo and Richard F. Murray both scored about 97 to 93. Eva Shane has it 96-94 for the winner by unanimous decision, Greg D. Richardson.
So Greg Richardson improves his record to 26-4, a unanimous decision as he beats Gaby Canizales in their 10-round bantamweight bout. And that throws Richardson right back into the title picture. As you see Richardson at work, that was in round number 10, and he just scored at will throughout most of the fight. Canizales, the puncher, never able to land the one haymaker. And here with the winner is Sports Channel's Wally Matthews.
Greg, you won the decision, but it seemed like it was a very dangerous fight plan. You didn't run from this guy. You stood in there and punched with him. Were you in danger in there of being knocked out?
No, he hit me with a couple good shots, but nothing that took no real effect on me. I stay in good condition. I live boxing. I've been training all my life to be here.
Now, there was one particular punch, the left hook at the end of the 4th round, sent you into the ropes over there. How badly were you hurt at that point?
Well, he stepped on my foot and hit me, so it was more of a off balance. I wasn't hurt. That's why I was moving around trying to make sure I didn't twist my ankle or anything like that.
Now, you're a fighter that does not have a lot of knockouts. Most of your fights go the distance. How do you keep yourself from getting frustrated when you're hitting your man so cleanly and he's not getting hurt?
Well, as long as I'm staying ahead, I think he's the one who will have to worry about getting frustrated from not being able to hit me, more so than me being able to hit them and not knocking them out. if I get a couple good clean shots, I think these guys will go. But this guy was strong and tough.
All right, obviously a big win for you here tonight. What does this mean for the future of your career?
Well, we like a world title shot coming up soon. I mean, he has a brother, Gaby Canizales. He's an IBS champion. He's a great fighter. I've seen him fight. I'm very impressed with him. I like the opportunity to fight him. I think I'm the man to beat in the Bantamweight division.
Well, of course, you're already familiar with the other member of the family.
Right.
Greg Richardson walks the tightrope here tonight against Gaby Canizales, gets a 10-round decision. Now back to Bob.
All right, Greg Richardson gets career win number 26. We now pause for a regional break.